Do your own research and due diligence before investing in any company. The information I provide is in no way or manner a professional suggestion to purchase shares in any publicly traded company. I am not licensed to provide financial advice, and this should be considered entertainment. These stock profiles are intended to be trading ideas, a starting point for research. Any individual who chooses to invest in any securities should do so with caution. Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk. You may lose some or all the money that is invested. Always research your own investments and consider consulting with a registered investment advisor or a licensed stockbroker before investing. Yes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, joining me in the chat room right now. This is episode 134. I have to always look that up because I'm just like, man. Episode after episode after episode. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me in the chat room. Erica Martin, Gladiator, More Peace, Q DeMayo. Who else is in here? Bruce Cole, what's up, man? Joe Flores, Tia D, TGO, Muddy Wolf. We got a lot of people in here. Bad Scientist and Cinco Hernandez, they were both in the building, first and second. Shout out to everybody joining me. Our World, what's good? Adam Willis, Henry Ramos. Today's a Friday night show, man. I'm actually going to make this one pretty quick. I'm such a terrible boyfriend, man. The last 2 Fridays, I've been telling my girl, I'm going to make it quick. We'll still be able to do something. And, I go 7 hours and then 4 hours last week. I'm like, damn, I'm so horrible, man. After I get off, everything is closed and shit. I'm just horrible. So tonight I'm going to aim 2 hours. I'm going to aim for 2 hours and I'm going to cut my shit off. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me again. This is episode 134. Let's get the show started. Here. And there's a lot of talk right now on the mainstream financial news sources of a possible pullback in the market coming. And when the market as a whole starts to crash, it's pretty good for penny stocks because a lot of people kind of divest from the stable things and kind of play with the OTC. So that's actually a pretty good thing for us. So I'm if that's going to happen, I'm all for it. All right. So the market overall was up, for the most part, 0.5% or so. I'm looking at the SPX, 0.5% or so, actually less than 0.5%, 0.05 on SPX. A lot of red today on the market overall. Did you guys see the stocks we talked about yesterday, though? CCTL with the 114% gain. Shout out to the guy who called up about that, man. Yes, CCTL and also GSDC. And GSDC was just, pure momentum. You could just see the momentum in that. And that was a stock that got up to like 114 something percent and it pulled back pretty strongly before settling at 0050. So could have another day in that. We'll see if that can definitely be the situation next week in that. But again, these were just 2 momentum plays. I ended up sending out an email about GSDC just as an alert. Just an alert, not saying I had anything to do with it or I just talked about it. And it was just a classic pattern in terms of huge momentum move one day. Then okay, people are going to come the next day and jump on it. And that's exactly what happened. Cinco Hernandez, your CCTL looks like it could, possibly. These both might be 2 plays that might be the new runs next week. But yeah, Thriller, I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you in POTN. I do not blame you. Do not blame you. That was very, very disappointing run. Left that shit and moved over to this that gold play and also CCTL. Yeah, MKAU. I don't know what happened. I was so disappointed in MKAU. This was a stock that had, I think I had like 4 or 5 people calling the show about MKAU, and then it just shits on everybody. So I want those people to call up now. Don't disappear now. 704, you're on the air. Let me see here if my Skype is acting up now. Hold on. Let me see. There it goes. 704, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, this is Astrid. I am very new to trading, and as I'm starting to dibble and dabble a little bit in some of these stocks, and I love your show, and I love all your YouTube videos. You've responded to me via email. I'm Am2Lady.
Okay.
When I'm doing, when I'm looking for stocks, what's some of the due diligence? Like, what are some key things I should be looking for when I'm doing my due diligence?
Well, again, it kind of depends on the type of stocks you're looking for, but obviously, in general, volume is the most important, probably the most important thing. Also, if you have a good broker that can allow you to see what the dollar volume amount is, that also helps. You can also find that on Yahoo Finance in the statistics section.
I just switched to Fidelity. I was using Capital One, which I didn't like too much, so now I'm with Fidelity.
Okay.
So they look like they're, much better.
Yeah, definitely a lot better. I mean, there's a lot of things that are wrong with Capital One. But you're with a much better broker now in Fidelity.
Okay.
I would look at, of course, the float. The float is very important too. That determines, how quickly the stock can increase in value or move just in general. Stock with a very low float that, eventually that, I want to say, what's the word for it? If you have a stock with a very low float that experiences a large amount of momentum, that can lead to incredible price moves in the stock. So you want to look for stocks that are low float, and you can look at lowfloat.com. Lowfloat.com is probably the number one site for low float stocks. There are people who simply live and die on that one website and trade only stocks that are on lowfloat.com. That stock is and that website is free as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I don't quite know how to read charts yet, and candlesticks and all that. So when I'm looking at charts, it just looks like another language to me.
So. You definitely want to learn at least the basics. In fact, we have, if you want to email me again, happypennystocks@gmail.com. I have the top 12 candlesticks that every trader should know. I believe that's actually the name of the PDF, and it's a small PDF I can send you, so at least and these are all indicators that would show either failing momentum or a buy signal. So these are 12 important candlesticks you should know, and I can send that to you if you email me. I think Bad Scientist sent that to me too as well. Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you. Well, I don't want you to get in trouble. 2 hours tonight.
Not a problem. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the call, Astrid.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. So thank you so much for the call, Astrid. And email me again, happypennystocks@gmail.com. I'll send that to you. I'll also post that again in the Discord chat room. Many of you guys already have that. In fact, I got it from you, Bad Scientist. So I got it from you. But yeah, for ladies and gentlemen, getting back to the show here, MKAU, what happened? It was supposed to go live today. I want to know what happened. Somebody tell me, MKAU, here's the line for the open. All right, here's the 200 moving average. This is the 200 moving average. The 200 moving average. Now we're well below the 200 moving average in MKAU. I do have the Bollinger Bands on it. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen. This was a stock we were so excited about. In fact, you guys got me excited about it because, I had so many people calling my show telling me this was going to be the stock to watch and, MKAU. Then I get MKAU. Not personally, I don't get it, but I put it on the list for a stock to watch, and then it shits on people. I hate doing that. I absolutely hate that shit. Yeah, Trading Jedi. I agree with you, man. Horrible. It's been a horrible thing. Absolutely horrible thing. All right. Most decided volume. Yeah, definitely number one plugged in films is volume, by all means. Volume, 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 volume. Yeah, this is one of those blue mics. All right. I think this is 704. You're back on.
What's happening, Sal?
Hey, what's going on? Who am I speaking with?
Alex, el Latino.
Oh,
Latino.
Alex, what's up, man?
Hey, dude, how about RNVA, man? The reverse split.
Yeah, RNVA, this is really interesting.
Do you remember that stock that I was holding on to it, and you were like, you sold it after the split or before the split? I'm like, nah, hell no, I didn't sell it because I was trying to learn.
But here's the thing, though, man, because with the reverse split, you ended up with less shares. And, did it still work out for you?
Dude, I sold the damn thing.
Okay.
I sold the damn thing.
Okay. All right.
No, I should have kept them.
So, what do you think about RNVA moving forward, though? What do you think about it moving forward?
I have no fucking clue. I don't have no idea what these guys do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, Alex. Hey, call me back, man. Lower your volume, dude. I'm sorry. This is a whole lot of shit going on in that background, bro. Again, no disrespect, man. Just lower the volume on that because there's just a whole lot of shit going on in the background. I don't know what that was all about. Were you guys getting all that? It was just I couldn't understand what the hell was going on. But yeah, man, just call me back. Lower the my sound in the background because I know you're gonna get the delay. But just let me know if RNVA is just a stock that you plan on keeping, or he said he actually sold it. But do you think it's gonna go higher, or are you done with it? That's what I want to know. Desert Edge, do we talk about Dries? Yeah, man, we talk about Dries almost every day, dude. Every day we touch on Dries, but Dries has been shitting on investors right now, and it looks like it's going to be doing that for the time being. Dries might do what it did last time and actually touch $1. As you can see here, these are the days in Dries, and Dries now $1.37 and going lower. It's a shorter's best friend right now. So Dries doing, the unfortunate thing right now. All right. Dries doing, unfortunately, the unfortunate thing right now. 561, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Who am I speaking with?
Oh, this is Joseph, but I believe my, handle is Suplex in the room.
All right, cool. What you got for us, man?
Yeah, RNVA, that was actually a really good pick. It gapped up $1 today, but I don't know the other guy, but, what I tend to usually do is I'll let the whole stocks for no more than a day, and I usually look for the low floats, high percentage gators, with a catalyst behind it, with a clean chart pattern. RNVA actually came up on a scanner today. As you can see, it opened up around $2, gapped up. Ran all the way up to 327 for the pullback, and then you have a few chances to play off the lower RSI levels throughout the day with a good volume support behind it. But besides that, I don't know if you know about Yellen. She actually was doing a little interview today and saying that she's going to raise the rates. So what was effective also with that was, let's see, hold on, JNUG. I don't know if you pull that one up. It's a gold miners index. Play that today also for a gain. As you can see, the chart pattern's pretty clean. Volume was there. Right when the meeting happened around 1 o'clock, that's when volume came back in. And as you can see, push prices all the way up just because the rates were going to raise. That was a really good play, RNVA and JNUG.
All right. Now, for RNVA, do you think that's going to continue to go higher, or is RNVA done? What was the catalyst for that anyway? What was the reason? Obviously, it is low float after the reverse, but what's the reason for it to gap higher like that? What was that cause?
The only thing I can see is, let's see, checking the news. I'm going to get viral. That's for announced today that we need. Let's see here. Actually, I actually don't know why the volume came in. I just played the chart, bro. I literally just played the chart.
Okay, cool. No doubt. All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the call, man.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so 561, appreciate the call. RNVA, not bad on RNVA and JNUG. JNUG, I'd prefer the options on JNUG than actually buying the stock. I think you made a killing on the options on JNUG if you called it right. 206, Mr. Lloyd, what's up, man?
Sal!
Hey.
Sal!
Yes.
Sal, you would not believe this shit.
What happened, man?
You would not believe. Man, you know when I first started trading, Bovash has been definitely a big inspiration on me when I first started. Mm-hmm. That guy was bringing in like $6,000 a week. And I was like, it ain't gonna never happen for me. I don't see it happening. From the 28th till today, I've netted $6,000, bro.
Damn.
$6,000 in 1 week.
Give him.
I can't believe.
Oh my God. Look, let me give you the bomb.
I've never imagined. I made $1,200 within 9 minutes of doing it. I could have made $10,000, but I had to go to work, and I don't have time to babysit the trade.
Man,
but
look,
you know what?
With all this money you making, why even go to work?
Because I told you when I first started trading, man, I met this lady at work. You know, she only has like a $20 an hour job, but she says, "I'm here because I want to be here, not because I have to."
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand that, man. But you know what? I'm in a job now where I want to be at, and I'm not there because I don't have to be there. Mm-hmm. And I think once you put yourself in a position to where you're not forced to hit that clock every day, man, you're more comfortable, and I think you make better trades. Mm-hmm. Now, I fucked up, man. I played NVIDIA the day before. I told you I lost $800. I called in yesterday, the day before. I said, "Hey, I lost $800." That's because I was playing somebody else's game. I was looking at their games. I got excited, and like I told you, when you're switching stocks like that, it's like going to sleep with another woman. You don't know how she reacts in bed. She might be too wild for you, and you lose a bunch of money.
There it is.
So I lost my ass off. But today, 9 minutes, I made $1,250. Actually, I was up $1,700.
What was
the time that Russell 2000.
Okay.
I traded the ETF.
What was the ticker on that?
RUT. Remember we talking about it? I think it's for.
Oh yeah, what's the because there's another ticker for it. I forgot what's the.
I don't know, man. You gotta look that shit up. It's like
look that shit up. Yeah, I'll find it.
But you guys have got priorities. I'm out and about going to watch a movie right now, man. But you know, I mean, shit, man. You guys have been a huge inspiration to me, and you guys that are out there that don't think it's possible, it's possible, man. I started out with nothing. I mean, I lost 3,000 or 4,000 within the first year of my trading. So you're going to get losses. Don't get excited about these gains that I'm getting. I took an ass whooping, a beating, and now I'm able to understand those whoopings and ass whoopings I took allow me to understand what I need to do. But you need to get those whoopings first, and some people can do it without them. But I'm glad I got my ass whooped, man. So I'm glad to say, man, that you know, I sent my wife that text this morning with that $1,250 on there. She couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? But it's she told me she won a second job. I'm like, for what? Why? You know, but I mean, I just, you know, I think when I made the trade this morning.
What was the bet this morning? Was it a put or call? Like what was the strategy this morning? What were you trying to do?
Basically, man, I think to me, I mean, everybody has their own freaking way of moving averages, candles, whatever. I looked at the candlesticks. I saw the sentiment of the candles. It went below the 8 exponential moving average, and I wait for the confirmation. I stayed in the trade for 9 minutes. I had $1,700. About time I put the order in to sell, it jumped down to 15. When I hit send, it was at $1,250. I'm good with that. If I had to pay the market makers, Good. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just got to give it to you, man. I really appreciate the camaraderie of this chat room that we have and all the information that I've gained from these guys. I got to thank you, man, because if it wasn't for you, I would have never netted $6,000 in 1 week.
Yes.
So I just need to take my time, man, and just play slow. But, the analogy I like to give for this is like double dutch, Some people turn the rope really quick. Some people turn the rope really slow. You just need to find which one will turn the rope the right way for you to jump in. You know how, the women back in the day, how they bob their head before they get up in that double dutch?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's how I treat stocks. You have to find how to bob your head to get up in there. And then I haven't mastered it yet, man, but I'm getting to a point to where the reality is kicking in to where I can be that person to make $800,000 within a year. I just got to be disciplined, man. And sometimes, that cowboyness, that cowboyness does get into me sometimes. But this morning I was so patient.
Yeah.
I had no distractions around me, and basically I just watched the profits go from.
Now, Mr. Lloyd, how much was the position? Like the position you took?
I had five puts.
Okay.
At $3.50. I sold at $5.70, something like that.
Okay, so it was about
$1,600.
$1,600.
Yeah, I put $1,600 in there, and it went from $200. Basically, it was moving so slow. I was able to like Nvidia. The bad thing about Nvidia is that you'll go from 800 to 200 to negative 300, and it's like it moves so fucking quick. But this here was moving so slow for me. I went from 200 to 450 to 600 to 800. I mean, it was. Hold on, I don't think I'm talking on the phone, woman. Anyways, she's rushing to get inside this movie, man. But I decided to come out and celebrate tonight, man. So it ain't no secret, man. People don't listen. It's not a secret to this. You just need to figure out what's best for you. What is best for you? There's no moving average. There's no magic wand to make you rich. And don't get excited about this, but it's possible if you take your time. That's to me, that's probably the secret. Take your time, learn this. Figure out what's best for you. Some people like Forex, some people like OTC, some people like stocks. You just need to figure out how you want to control your money. So anyways, man, so I'm heading in this movie, man, but I just want to say thank you, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for.
Hey, Mr. Lloyd, I'm going to be looking forward to that donation, okay?
man, but why should I send you food stamps? I ain't cashed in yet now.
All right, Mr. Lloyd, I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. All right, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, man. Shout out to Mr. Lloyd. He's going to the movies. He's going to the movies with this woman. Yeah, did you hear him? He's like, don't you see I'm talking, woman? Damn. Yeah, he went on into this lady real quick, and I was like, oh, damn, okay, shit. But shout out to Mr. Lloyd, man. He's making some good gains trading options. Just be a little scary that options is iffy. I mean, that was a 9-minute move as he described it. It can go either your way or against you real quick, so be careful on options. 920, what's up? You're on the air.
What's going on? So I was JB85, huh?
Hey, JB, what's up, man?
No, man, I had called yesterday about that CCTL.
Okay, yes. I was just thinking it was you. Okay, CCTL, man. You were spot on with that, dude. I mean, first of all, let me ask you, how did this even get on your radar to begin with, man?
I honestly don't even know. I couldn't even tell you that part, but I can tell you what caught my attention with it was the fact that they dealt with Bitcoins and it was a triple O stock.
Yeah. And
like I said, with Bitcoin, I guess one Bitcoin now is worth more than an ounce of gold.
Yes, man, incredible.
So yeah, so all of these Bitcoin stocks are riding. I got another one that's kind of setting up just like it. If you want to check it out, it's MELY. MELY. Microelectronics Technology. Oh, very, very similar setup. Okay. I believe that one also is another Bitcoin. I actually saw that from I think it was Sheepwolf.
Okay. Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of going through some tweets when
I know exactly. Okay, this guy. All right. Sheepwolf. Okay. Oh, all right. I don't have any. Okay. My thing is that he likes to front load a lot, so he'll get in a position, right? And then he'll be like, oh, look at this stock that's up huge. Hey, everybody, that stock is about to do something. And then you buying his shares. You see what I'm saying? That's
Okay,
the
yeah.
thing about him. So you just gotta, again, not to put any shit out there about him. It's just, it's just I've realized how he does business just by, from a distance, and
No problem. I understand that completely.
right. So just keep your eye out on it. That's all I'm saying.
No problem. That one just came. Like I said, when I got that CCTL, when it went up today, I kind of went on Twitter and put that in there, and I saw him putting a lot of information out on that one as well. So that one kind of caught my eye.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I have another one as well that I didn't get from him. I don't know, but it's CNXS.
Okay, yeah, Mike Tyson Bitcoin. That's that company.
Oh, that's the Mike Tyson Bitcoin one?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the Mike Tyson Bitcoin one. That pulled
Yeah, I
back a
remember you
little
talking
bit
about that one
today.
yesterday.
Yeah, that one pulled back a little bit today, but I'm still watching that one too as well because it is a pure Bitcoin play. I mean, they got some machines out there, and they really are running with his name. So it's actually a legit operation, small operation to begin with, but CNXS is a Bitcoin play. It is a pure Bitcoin
No problem.
play.
Okay, I guess that MELY, when I kind of looked into it, it was saying something about they actually got a website and stuff like that. I guess the CCTL really doesn't have much information on it. Last time they posted news was back in a couple months ago.
Yeah, see that situation is where those guys have front loaded, and now that industry is hot, so they're like, "Hey, everybody, come look at this, come look at this," and they're selling you their shares that they got in, maybe a day or 2 days ago, and that's basically what the issue there is. I mean, again, I don't have anything to bad to say about him because he's never burned me, but I know that's how he does business. So I would just take care on that and be aware.
No, I appreciate that a lot, Sal, man. I just wanted to put you on those two right there.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, JB.
I appreciate that. No problem.
All right, but here's the thing, though. I mean, even with that being said, MELY is probably going to run on Monday. Even with that being said, because the fact of the matter is he has his little Twitter following. He has his little following on Investors Hub. And this guy by the name goes by Sheepwolf. Sheepwolf on Investors Hub as well as on Twitter. So you can just literally type in Sheepwolf and it pops right up on Twitter. And all he does is just pump little stocks like this all day where he goes around, finds, stocks that haven't done anything in a while and gets a position, which he probably took back here, as you can see here on the 17th and possibly 21st and 22nd, and got maybe some more friends in today. And then, hey, everybody, MELY, that's the new play, everybody. That's the new play. And then you're buying those 111, 222, 333 shares. And he's selling them to you now at 0010 or whatever the fuck it is going for now. 0005, 0006. Henry Ramos, did that dip on alarm you? Not necessarily, especially after they got picked up pretty quickly. Although I was a bit concerned. Let me not say I wasn't. But the fact of the matter is, that I don't like jumping into stocks the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes, I don't like jumping into plays. So when I come into a play, it's always 30 minutes after because I'm not into those guys who like to rush into a play because I'm going to end up buying it too high. So I bought the pullback. The pullback was really nice. It was GSDC. Shout out to everybody who played that with us. GSDC. Here is the date. What was it? Yeah, it's today. Let me see if I can get probably a 1 minute chart. Would look even sketchier. Very few buys in the stock today, but that huge dip. Here's what you were talking about. That dip. 30 minutes in, literally exactly 30 minutes in, and then this is where you would have been able to get in, right? Exactly 30 to 45 minutes out. What is that? This is about 9:56. You could have got into the stock at 004s, and then the stock got to a high of 007. So almost doubling your money within an hour and a half. Within an hour and a half. the stock was more likely going to continue to run on Monday. I don't know how high. On Monday. But the fact that the market saw how thin it was today, the fact that it did touch almost 115% before pulling back, that means this stock is incredibly thin. So we'll see what happens on Monday. I'm still watching both CCTL as well as GSDC tomorrow. Yeah. As well as that. No, I would let you know if it was my pump. Of course, Trading Jedi. I'd let you know if it was my thing. That's the thing about these guys that, if they would just be upfront about their situation, people would still play. But what guys like Sheepwolf and all these other guys are doing with your front loading and shit like that, we'll see, man. I mean, how long can you go along with that? All right, people are going to realize after a while that, man, you're full of shit. GIGL, that pullback was pretty severe today. Let me go back to the daily charts because we know in penny stocks, the intraday charts can be really funny looking. So GIGL pulling back today with a 13% gain in GIGL. Nobody wants to talk about MKAU, although that was the stock of the night. I think I had 4 calls about MKAU alone yesterday. Now those callers are nowhere to be found. It's always like that. Always like that. 4 or 5 days straight. MKAU. Here's the stock was supposed to be released today. We're supposed to go online today. No news, no nothing. Stock shits on itself. And nobody calls up about it. Always like that. 919, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, Sal. How you doing, Bad Scientist?
Bad Scientist, what's up, man?
Hey, I'm good. How's your trading day been today?
Oh, been excellent today, man. Had 2 really good stocks I was really excited about last night. And when they go your way, it's always a good thing, man. And I'm really happy. Good profits today.
Okay, what 2 are you looking at today?
Well, CCTL as well as GSDC. Both penny stocks that I traded today. And again, just following CCTL was pure momentum. GSDC cracked down at 10:30 as we saw in the chart. And I bought those bottoms. Yeah.
When did you get into CCTL up 114% today?
Yeah, well, no, I never. Well, of course, not that high. Because that would have been way too much. But if I go back to CCTL again, 30 minutes after the hold, there was a pullback. Let me see here at exactly. This was 10:45. 10:45, and again, the pullbacks that happened early, because I almost got in here a lot earlier at 10:15, but the 10:45 pullback is where I got in at, and again, just sat on it and moved over to GSDC to see what was going on there. But CCTL was another pure momentum play. We talked about it right here in the chat room yesterday. CCTL and GSDC, those were the ones I was looking at today.
Okay. Yeah, I had more of a lesson today. I want to talk about 2 stocks. A bit expensive, but very good for swing traders who don't want to look at their stocks every minute, every second. So the 2 are VRX, as in Valiant, and FCX, the copper company based actually here in Phoenix.
All right, so let's go with VRX. Now, VRX is showing a very bearish sentiment, and it's been like that for some time now. What makes you think this is... we're well below the 200 moving average. What makes you think that this is it was one to watch right now?
Okay, so what do you notice about VRX? So I've been reading a lot into contrarian investing. So right now, like you said, yes, most people will say it's bearish, don't get into it. But if you put the Bollinger Bands on the daily chart, what do you notice when VRX hits the bottom Bollinger Bands? What does it do after that?
It definitely bounces off the bottom band. I've seen that a couple times here as we look in the chart. Even better when it breaks it.
Right. Well, it hardly breaks it. If it does, it's for a day or 2 and comes back into the Bollinger Bands. I think this phenomenon I think pretty much every stock seems to, on average, it stays within the Bollinger Bands because it's two standard deviations on either side of the middle Bollinger Band. But it works particularly well for these more expensive stocks. So what I want to highlight to you right now is VRX closed at just over $13.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been, I guess it's a triple bottom right now, quadruple bottom if you count the candlestick on the 8th of November. But what I want to bring to people's attention is this stock is very predictable, and as well as FCX, the copper company. What you'll notice is that, okay, so right now it's touching the lower Bollinger Bands at 13-ish, and it's going to come round again, go to about 17, and come back down. So after, I've analyzed this for a bit, it looks like it averages, between Bollinger Bands. It does that between 10 and 15 days on average, unless, of course, news comes out. I mean, for instance, the time it's gotten to the lower Bollinger Band, this time it's taken 4 or 5 days, but that's not typical. It typically averages about 10 to 15 days. But what I just wanted to bring to people's attention is with these more expensive stocks, you might not get fantastic gains in a quick amount of time, but trading these stocks, so typically the $5 to $20 stocks, is look out for them. I mentioned FCX, and just basically when it comes to the lower Bollinger Band, buy it as when it starts touching the lower Bollinger Band, just like VRX right now, and then basically wait for it to come round and then sell it at the top Bollinger Band when it gets to about $16 or $17, and it's the same thing with FCX. And that's just my lesson for today is, we talk about penny stocks a lot, but look into these more stable stocks where I don't want to say guaranteed, but where the success rate is repeatable, because a lot of these stocks, especially like VRX, is actively traded. I mean, today, for instance, was a 33 million day. It averages, close to that every other day, or it gets up there, usually. So if there are swing traders who don't want to be looking at their stocks every single day and don't want to worry about losses and so on, pick stocks like FCX and VRX, and just trade between the Bollinger Bands, and you'll be just fine. So you can short at the top of the Bollinger Band, wait for it to hit the bottom Bollinger Band, sell it, or cover, and then likewise when you go long, buy at the bottom of the Bollinger Band and then sell at the top. And that's all I wanted to share with people today.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the call.
Sure thing, man. Take care.
All right. So, Bad Scientist, recommending Valiant, and Valiant's been, man, it's, my thing about Valiant is it's considered one of the worst pharmaceutical companies out there. But Bad Scientist saying we should possibly look into going long on Valiant here at the lower Bollinger Band, based on technical play. But Valiant, man, again, Bad Scientists, if you want to look a little bit into the company, man, they've been investigated by the Department of Health and Human Services and the FDA. I mean, the FBI. I mean, so I would do a little research on that, man. But great info though. I like where you're getting at with this, and you might be absolutely right on this. You might be absolutely right on that. He also talked about let me see here real quick. SCX. SCX. I hope I'm pulling up the right SCX. Manufacturing play, small tools and accessories company, at $11.10 a share. Bands are tightening on that. Bands are tightening on that as it sits just above the 200 moving day average there on SCS. Or FCX? Is that what he meant? FCX? Freeport McMoran? Okay. If he meant Freeport McMoran, again, still above the 200-day moving average, touching, well, not close just yet, but looking to touch that lower Bollinger Band. Looking to touch that lower Bollinger Band. All right. Well, you're right, Bad Scientist. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. All right. FCX. Okay. Freeport McMoran. All right. All right. 450. You're on the air. What's up?
What's up, Sal? How you doing?
Doing good. Who am I speaking with?
Ricky from Canada.
Yes, Ricky Lindo. What's up, man?
What happened? MKAU, man, just destroyed me today.
Man, you tell me, man, because you were so excited about this. I got excited about it. It was supposed to go live today. I guess it didn't go live. What happened, man?
It didn't. It's exactly what I said when I called up yesterday. I said if the news comes out in the morning, we should be all right. But I was waiting for it. I was faithful and waiting for the news, and the news just never came out. Never came out.
So I mean, what do we do from here? I mean, if you're an MKAU investor, you're down 31% today. Monday, are they going live? Are they not going live Monday at all either? What's the...
I don't know either. I tried to go onto their site. It still says coming soon. They did not give any news for their investors. I kind of find it a little shitty in our part. You know, it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't even try to give some good news, saying, "Okay, look, we're not opening today. We're going to be a little late. We're opening next week." Something. They gave nothing. I thought they were going to pump out the news probably at noon instead of 10 in the morning, so that it could go down and then investors could come in after, but they didn't even do that. They just let everybody high to dry.
Yeah. I mean, I went to the website today too, and man, it just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it seemed even worse than it was a couple of days before. There's a lot more going on, but it didn't seem as fluid as it was before. But I don't know, maybe if there's technical issues or whatnot, but I hope they get it together really soon, man, because this was a pretty big sell-off.
Yeah, exactly. It was a big sell-off. And then sometimes I think myself, it's like, does the company dilute it on purpose? They pump it, they dump it, and that's it. We have to watch ourselves on these kinds of cases. It's just sad that they don't even try to give some sort of news to say, hey, guys, you know what? We're a little late. Something's going on. We're going to fix it, you know? Nothing.
So,
let us all out to dry.
What's your next move personally in the stock? I mean, are you holding on to next week, or did you sell? Or
no, I'm going to hold on for now, because if you see in the past, the stock has been going up and down. I'm in it at pretty much at around 22, 23 by average. So I'm not crying yet. So I think I'm going to stay long in it. I know that there's a couple other people long in MKAU too. So we'll see what happens. It's just like also RMHB. RMHB, you know, I just started penny stocking, and I really got into it because of this stock, RMHB. They came out with great news last week. They partnered up with the Chinese. They came up with an artist that they're going to partner up, and instead of going from 1550, it tanked to like 1150 today. I think after hours it went to 1170.
Yeah, I mean,
seems like news runs in the wrong way for some reason.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain High Brands. Yeah, they had came out and said that they were going to put in $100,000 into marketing, whatever that meant.
Yeah.
They never even described what marketing they were talking about. But
they wanted to hit the TV. They wanted TV and internet. They said that they were going to put $100,000 into marketing, and also just the day before, I think it was on the 2nd or the 1st. On the OTC market, they also came out with the news, OTCmarket.com, that they partnered up with the Chinese lady, and that they're bringing their brands to China. So these are like crazy news, and it goes up 1550, and with Rocky Mountain Brands, it killed me, because I couldn't do it fast enough so I could buy the stock, and right when I bought it, it just tanked on me. It just started going down.
Shit.
It's a game to be played. Now I'm starting to figure it out a little bit better, but MKAU toasted me.
There it is, man. Well, I'm really hoping that the situation turns around in both of these companies. I mean, MKAU especially, because there's so many guys in there from this show as well as other chat rooms that were really cheering that company on. They believed in the product, and they thought that today was going to be the day that, you know, that stock could see possibly maybe a 3-digit gain day, and it just unfortunately didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen whatsoever. It actually tanked itself pretty quickly, and I'm in construction, and literally by the time I was able to put on like a door on an interior door, it takes me about 35 minutes, and bang, I looked back at my phone and it was already tanked. I was already down like $200, and I had a $200 gain in the morning, and then by the time I came back to my phone, $200 loss. I'm like, wow. Well, that's the name of the game.
Appreciate it, Ricky. Thank you so much for the call, man.
Yeah. Thanks again, man.
All right. So, tough day for Ricky. Tough day for Ricky in Canada. But, you know, one of these two stocks is going to get back to winning again. And, you know, they both can do it if they would just follow through on what they say. They both could do it if they would just follow through on what they say. You know, MKAU let down a lot of people today. They, you know, all they had to do is put on a $300, you know, news release saying, hey, we're having some issues. We're still going to go live. They didn't do anything. No, nothing. That didn't even bother to put out anything at all. You know, so if I'm an investor in MKAU, I'm going at the CEO or whoever I can get a hold of. I'm going at their neck. Because you said the release was happening today, and the fact that it didn't happen, but you didn't say anything about it, is as if they ran into, you know, the back of a building and just, you know, didn't want to come out or something. Real sad. Real sad. Mark M., I kind of agree with you on Rocky Mountain High Brands. I think Rocky Mountain High Brands will get back to winning again a lot sooner than MKAU, I believe. I think Rocky Mountain High Brands has got a little bit of more of a loyal following. So although the stock is down today, I think, you know, in a couple sessions, you'll be back up. In a couple sessions. Exactly, Victor. Thank you, Tony Brown. Yeah, both of them were you know, pure momentum plays. GSDC was just a pure momentum play. I'd seen that set up many, many times. You know, we just had a guy call up, Jay Bino, in the chat room. That's a pure momentum play. That's a situation where, you know, somebody's got into the stock because he mentioned the guy's name. So that stock he brought up will be up. It's up for all the wrong reasons, but it will be up. And Jay Bino, if you can type in again in the chat room that stock again, I think it was like HELY or something like that. MELY, was it MELY or something? Yeah, MELY, up 300%. Very, very similar setup to what GSDC did, because GSDC was another stock that was up like 300%, and you know, so it's a pure momentum play that people will jump in on Monday, based on who's pushing it. But just be very careful. I would buy the pullback if you believe in it. I'd buy the pullback because they're gonna sell it. They're gonna dump it on you in the morning. So I'd be very careful on that. Sup, Ja Warrior? Dries, yes, Dries will be at $1 soon. And that's where it might take off, is $1. Who knows? Yeah. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it is for still relatively low float. Thank you, Jay Bino. Yes, MELY. Somebody in the chat room had brought up Gene, Gene, at $1.10. Someone in the chat room brought up Gene at GENE. Looks like the stock is kind of funneling in between 127 and 111. I don't see anything really interesting here in Gene, so I'm not sure what's the excitement there about. Nothing going on there. Jay Bino brought it up, Desert Edge. And he mentioned a well-known Twitter promoter by the name of Sheepwolf. And if you guys remember, he's the one that brought up NEWC that many of us got burned in. NEWC going to the moon. NEWC, it's going to the moon. It's going to, and then the next day it shitted on us. I'm like, what the fuck? So that's why I don't know. No more working with this guy or working with that. No more. I'll find my place. Thank you so much. I'll find my own place. All right? And if you got a play that's hot, then you call up and tell us about it. But I ain't going to put your play on. I ain't letting you come up in here and, oh, yeah, this is going to the moon. Said USEI. Yeah, USEI, man, pull back a little bit. Here we had some guys buy up on USEI. I'm telling you, man, those low fives, you know, those low fives, fours, or whatever, they're those single digits, they're gonna buy that shit up. When it taps 005, you know, tapping the low six, they're gonna buy that shit up. You got people to buy that shit up. So look, it's a stock in progress. I'm just leaving it at that. Leaving it at that. All right. All right. CIE at bottom. What else is that? CIE at bottom. Yeah, USEI is one of those that's going to be I told you so. When it starts to run, it's like, oh, I told you. Cobalt Energy, CIE. I was watching it when it was a lot higher at 70 cents. Now we're a lot lower than where we were in CIE, so I don't want any part of it. You're now at the lowest end of the band, but as you can see here, you've had false signals in the past in CIE where it's it's went ahead and popped below the band, and unfortunately, no dojis came after it, showing a change in momentum. In fact, you actually got confirmation of bearish momentum, and you had it here as well too. Then confirmed today in CIE. I'd leave that alone if I'm you. All right. Well, I mean, I was hoping that, when we talk about MJNA and we talk about, CBIS getting back to winning again. I'm glad one of them is getting back to its winning ways. So shout out to the CBIS investors, man. There was a young lady that called up about CBIS, and she talked about how, like, she's looking to go long in CBIS, and if she ended up actually pulling the trigger on that, she got a great deal. A great deal. She got a great deal in CBIS at, what was that? I think at the time it was like maybe 0.078, maybe 8 cents a share. So shout out to her, man. Shout out to her. AREEF. Let me see. AREFF. Well, what the hell is that? A-Reef? Okay, so whatever reasons, let me see. A-Reef. I don't have that, bro. I don't know. I don't have that for whatever reason. Unless I'm typing it in wrong. BIOS. Man, gap up in BIOS. And here's the thing about BIOS is that this was, I don't know, maybe I got it confused with BIOC, because I do remember somebody bringing up BIOS. Or maybe BIOC. I probably have it confused. But BIOS gap higher today. $1.84 to close. You were actually a lot higher. You had got up to almost 38% for the day before closing, selling down for a 26% gain. Yeah, the gaps can very, very dangerous. Nevermore. Do you agree with that? Those gaps are very, very dangerous, man. They're very hard to play. Typically, when you stock gaps up, many of them come down pretty fast. If you played BIOS today, you didn't make any money unless, you probably got it at 171. If you timed it really right, you got it at 171. Your timing had to be almost perfect. But typically when they gap up, you see a strong pullback, and that's exactly what happened. Then buyers were found there in the low 170s, eventually closing at 184. But the real profit in BIOS was made at the guys who were in the day before. That was where the real profit is. Yeah, we talked about RNVA. RNVA now incredibly low float. You know, the guy was called up and, you know, I told him how I had sold during the reverse split because I didn't want to see my money disappear like that. You know, a reverse split, you know, you have 500 in the stock, you come out and you got maybe $1.25 left. You know, after the reverse, I don't want to see that happen. I'd rather just take my loss. You know, just take my loss, because even if, okay, I had $500 in it, now I'm down to 125. All right, so sure, the stock soars 38%. I'm still not up. I'm still down overall when you do the math. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to allow my stocks to get split on you. I mean, that's the worst thing you can allow yourself to do. Hey, the stock is going to reverse split. Sell your shares and move on. Okay. Yep, up after hours. That's what's up. It's incredibly low float, man. RNVA could be, you know, a 2 or 3 day runner now. You know, now it's got less than 10 million floating out there. Yeah, buy after the split. But don't allow yourself to just get diluted and have shares disappear. I like low float stocks that recently reverse split. Yeah, Trading Jedi. Again, check out lowfloat.com, man. That's your resource. That's your resource, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat room. Lowfloat.com. You're looking for low float stocks that can really move with some momentum. You know, you got stocks that are trading right now on the exchange that have floats as low as 1 million shares, 500,000, 200,000 shares, or even lower. So that's your resource, lowfloat.com. All right. And as I've said previously, there are guys that only trade stocks that are listed on that website. Someone wanted to say, let's talk about hemp or MGNA. What is there to say? I mean, in hemp or MGNA, I mean, they're, you know, marijuana is going through its issues right now. You know, look, if you're not looking to go long in marijuana, don't even touch those stocks right now. If you're not looking to go at least 14 days in any marijuana stock right now, I wouldn't even touch it. You know, at least 2 weeks. Just so you can make sure, one, they really are turning around, and two, that's probably where you're going to see some real gain. Hemp is recovering, yeah. Exactly why I would look into possibly maybe even a 2 week hold in a stock like hemp or CBIS. MGNA, I'm not sure yet, man. MGNA hasn't shown the confirmation yet, but looks like we've got strong support at 10 cents. Right? And, you know, higher lows, which is a good thing. Higher lows, which is a good thing. I mean, if you go out and spread the, let me see here on the daily chart. You know, somewhat higher lows developing. I think today wasn't necessarily the most helpful day. That you would have looked to have had at least a 2 to 3% gain today would have been a lot helpful, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. 5 million shares outstanding on RNVA. Oh man. Okay, float. Oh, actually, float is 1.5 million. Oh, that's great, Stockerfella. That's wonderful. RNVA with 1.5 million floating. That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. You know, low float. You know, that's a stock where you don't need a lot of people to be, you know, hitting the ask to move the stock. That's a good move. That's a good look. Kenny Dutton, you saying you're sticking with AMMJ to the end? Come on, man. That's a bag holder quote when you say it like that. AMMJ at 72 cents a share. It's just, I mean, you got a lot of support there on AMMJ. It looks like you got a lot of support there in the 70s. All right, you got a lot of support there in the 70s. All right. Man, this is another stock, too, that, if you go back in time here, look at that. July, August, you were talking about 10 cents, 8 cents, 9 cents. Now you're at 72 cents a share in AMMJ. In fact, you had got to a point where you were as high as almost 225 at one point. In a matter of 3 months from September when you were trading almost, what was that, 10 cents a share? That's incredible. 10 cents to 220 in a matter of 90 days. That was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And Bad Scientists, are you turning against, OTCs? Because that happens sometimes when guys feel like OTCs haven't been working out. They tend to turn around and become very negative at OTCs. I'm not saying you're doing that, but they'll become very negative OTCs. But eventually, something will go down in the NASDAQ will make them come back. Realize like, okay, IRBC. Okay, yeah, that's the one that don't pull up for me, IRBC. Our World, you said the Sabbath is tomorrow. What do you mean by that? I'm not a church-going person like that. What do you mean by the Sabbath is tomorrow? NAVB up 3 days in a row here. Actually 4 if you count that 28th. Small gain, but up nicely. You're up almost 20 cents a share in a matter of 3 days in NAVB. So NAVB putting on some nice gains here. 3 days in a row for NAVB. Incredible volume the last 3 days too. So find out what the catalyst is on that stock. NAVB with incredible gains. Craig G said, been trading OTCs your entire career. I love OTCs. Are just changing? Okay. Oh, okay, Bad Scientist. That's cool. Yeah, I love OTCs because, I mean, again, man, I don't have to put up a lot of money. That's the great thing about it, man. With the NASDAQ plays, just to make a decent return, in a $3 or $4 stock, you got to put up at least at least $3,000, $2,000 or higher. With the OTC stock, dude, 250 turns into 750. 750 can turn into $3,000. I mean, depending on how you do it. I've been in situations where a stock goes up, 30%. That $500, all of a sudden, I'm up another 60, 70 bucks. So, I don't have to put up a lot of money to make money. Sure, when you lose, it sucks, but when you win, it's even better. AFMD, 250, $2 a share. Okay. Wow, damn. So AFMD is another stock where you're up huge during the week. You got almost, 199 to 250 in a matter of 4 days. In a matter of 4 days in the stock. So AFMD putting on incredible gains here. Put that on your watch list. All right. Heartbeat, HADV. HADV, 10 cents a share. What does HADV do? Health Advance Incorporated. I'm not familiar with them. But that H makes me bring up that other stock, H.H. Gregg. And sure enough, with H.H. Gregg, the good times couldn't keep rolling forever for that stock, and H.H. Gregg sold off, which was kind of interesting because The stock started the day higher. I was watching H.H. Gregg after that incredible run it did yesterday, if you guys remember. And for the most part, for the morning, it was actually going higher. You had broke yesterday's high, and what looked like another 100% possible day was coming for H.H. Gregg, but that sell-off sure enough started at about 11:15, and it didn't stop for the rest of the day. So now you're actually below the 200 moving average. You got to at closing. The ticker was HGGG, H.H. Gregg. In fact, they announced today that they're closing like 88 stores, laying off over 1,500 workers. So, I mean, I just feel sorry for the workers now who have to, I'm sure they'll probably get a 90-day severance package or whatnot. So, but the fact that they got to go out here, many of them probably been working there 12 months or longer, or even if you just got the job, shit. And now you got to go back out there and find another job. Yeah. Tough day for H.H. Gregg workers. And that's CVM. I don't know what's CVN. Sell side. Now, as you can see here, nothing much going on in CVM that you brought up here. Barely any volume coming in CVM, so you might want to watch yourself if you're looking to get into that stock. Nothing going on in CVM. All right, 2 million shares. Hold on here. Hold on. That was today. Let me see what on the daily chart though. 2.8 million shares traded, but as you can see, intraday the moves doesn't look so hot. I mean, you got a couple buys here, some strong buying in the morning, but other than that, I mean, very few orders being, put through here. Small little buys here and there, but for the most part, you got to kind of go look at the daily chart. As you can see here, doji pattern showing here, very low volume in CVM. And again, 2.8 million shares, it's a lot, but not necessarily for that price on that exchange. You thought you'd probably be looking to see a lot more on that. What's going on, Stock Diva? SSH. Ooh, that's a classic one. We haven't talked about that in a long time. SSH, Sunshine Heart. This is a medical device company, if I'm correct. Medical device company. Green day today, 2.5%. Very bearish momentum in the stock in SSH. Let me pull out, what was the biggest gainers today? Let's look at that. Let me see here in the NASDAQ. Let's get out of OTCs for a second. All right, so Mankind, MNKD, with actually it was a reverse split, if I'm correct. I think they did like a 1 for 5. So it messed up the numbers. It looked like, oh, look, up 300%. No. It was actually a reverse split, so it's fucking up the numbers. RNVA. Mankind and RNVA now could go head to head now that Mankind is low float now too. Mankind should be sub 5 million on the float as well. Based on what that did. It should be sub 5 million on the float. CVRS, so Mankind MNKD should be watched too. CVRS, 3 days in a row of nice green. Actually, a lot more than that. In CVRS, you're up again. Wow, almost 80 cents since the 24th in CVRS. Yeah, Mankind, horrible business, bad scientists. I agree with you. And for the most part, it could be possibly a short. But you can say the same thing for RNVA. RNVA kind of is a useless play too. RNVA and Mankind have, very similar looking balance sheets if you do the research. And when I say similar in terms of they're just both losing money, they're both hemorrhaging cash like crazy. Someone bringing up JAGX, Jaguar Animal Health. This is a company that I've long called a scam for a long time. I've called Jaguar Animal Health a scam for a long time. This is not a stock that'll be around, 3-4 years from now. But hey, it's running, and it is what it is. Down 3%. Cool Cats. I am now using Charles Schwab, but I use TradingView for my charts and for my research. All right. So at the end of the day, I still use TradingView, which is my other platform I have here, for my day trading. All right, and then I just use Charles Schwab to put in my orders. Trading Jedi, you said you like Jaguar Animal Health for next week. Interesting. All right. Let me look at seeing what any of the promoters are putting out for us to take a look at next week. Some guys like to release their list for Monday today to kind of get ahead of the crowd. Small Cap Voice has put out CHRO. After a 4% day today, Small Cap Voice releasing this CHRO as a stock to watch. Who else put out something? PennyPickGains.com. DTGI 26 cents a share. You gotta look at what the company is, do some research on it. I do see here there's been some buying. They released this today, pennypickgains.com, as their stock to watch. DTGI is a strong stock with long-term potential. DTGI isn't your regular stock. This company is actually doing blah, 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 bullshit. DTGI. Let's see if they can deliver next week on DTGI. So I'll put that, as a stock to watch too. I'll put that as a stock to watch as well. Yep, $4.95, sir. Everybody answered your question. E-Trade, $4.95 if you trade 30 trades a quarter. Otherwise, $6.95. All right. Yeah, but I'm personally done with E-Trade. It's a wrap for me. I love Charles Schwab, man. Love it. Cleaner. Everything is at your fingertips. OTC scanner. An OTC scanner, man. Come on. BSTG, Biostage. Biostage is one that we had a guy call about, and it's slowly working its way through the gap. Do you see that? That's why sometimes I like these gap downs. And, we had this situation with CBR. You remember when this stock had a crash, not a gap down, but this one crashed, and I said hey, that's the buy. And sure enough, there was some awesome profits to be made. We had a guy who called up and said he didn't sell when it got to, that 39.40-ish, from that low of 23 cents. From 23 to about 45, he didn't sell, and he wanted to continue to hold on to the stock. I didn't understand why, because we just wanted to get back to where it fell off at. And but whatever. BSTG gapped lower. Again, I don't know what the news was there, but obviously, some guys looking to get in on a real big discount jumped in, bought those cheap shares, and now all of a sudden you're about almost a dime higher than you were. All right. You actually got there a little bit sooner. Probably could have sold a lot sooner. Just a couple days later with a nice profit, almost 10 cents a gain. 10 cents a share a gain in BSTG. And a stock that's, 30 cents a share, you could have picked up a load. You could have picked up a load and definitely made some good money there. TD Ameritrade, $6.95. Okay. Trade King has been bought by Ally. All right, look at Ally Bank trying to get into the brokerage space. Yeah, Ally Bank is real big up in Michigan. Okay. TD Ameritrade, $6.95. All right. GBSN. Somebody bringing up GBSN. GBSN now at 001. And GBSN was a triple. Did GBSN get to the triples? Hell no. Tell me it's not. GBSN, if I remember correctly, I believe GBSN was a NASDAQ play at one time. Am I not correct? The last couple days we had been talking about a stock that got delisted, and I think this is what I'm talking about. I think GBSN was at one time a NASDAQ play that got delisted. And in fact, if I quick Google, let me see if I can get a news article and just type in Great Pacific and then delisted. Yes, that's absolutely right. I'm right. Yep, GBSN. I see, here's the article, September 6th of 2016. Great Basin Scientific receives, I don't know why I'm messing up today, receives delisting warning from NASDAQ. This was a NASDAQ stock. This was a NASDAQ stock that now trades over the counter. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Okay, bad scientist. Yeah. All right. Okay, so some of you guys are believers in GBSN. Again, you know, this is a stock that had a horrible time. As you can see, was priced a lot higher. But as Bad Scientist said, it did a lot of reverse splits. So if you pull the chart back too far, it shows that the stock was like 10 grand or whatever. But that wasn't actually the case. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, when a stock gets delisted from the NASDAQ to the OTC, obviously that says a lot about the condition of the company. But you do have some investors who believe that even though it trades now on the OTC, that it's one of the more stronger OTC companies because you now understand that the business has a legitimate operation. You know, the problem with OTCs is that you accept the fact that many of these companies have little or no operations to begin with, right? They're upstarts. Many of them are just, you know, in their paper companies many times. So when, NASDAQ company comes into their space, you know, a lot of guys want to jump over it because, you know, they like the idea of a real company, you know, being traded over the counter. Mine is a scam. If you remember Mine, MINE, Mine was being pushed. I don't know if those of you guys are in the chat room are old enough to remember, but there was a gang of weed investors. They were called the Wolf Pack. Do you guys remember that? The Wolf Pack, this was like 2013, 2014. And they all had like these little wolf, you know, emojis and like wolf pictures, like avatars on their Twitters. And they were all in a couple stocks like MJNA or CBIS, and then a lot of them were in Mine. I mean, by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of them, you know, lost their entire family fortunes off this stock. And this was being run by a guy by the name of Wolf of Weed Street. Wolf of Weed Street. This guy came out. He was like the guru of all the weed stocks, and he would make these awesome predictions, and many times they were right at the time. So he developed a huge following. This is 2013, 2014. So all these guys would, you know, and thousands of people got into MINE and lost a lot of money. A lot of money. I mean, so many guys held on till the end. You can pull up Investors Hub. You can pull up any chat room. Any OTC investor or trader who's been around for a long time can tell you about the Wolf Pack and what happened. All right. OTC experts, 3 stocks a week free. Every fucking run's huge. Oh, okay. No, I don't know anything about them. Yeah, plug-in films, they all disappeared, bro. Here's the thing. Those guys, man, they just changed their avatars. They're people who talk all the time. You know, they just changed their avatars. Exactly, Desert Edge. They do shit like that, with the little wolf emojis and yeah, man, bloodthirsty for gains. That was one of their slogans. Bloodthirsty for gains. They all lost money. Yes, Stockerfella, that's absolutely right. He did expose him. I'm headed to the mall. I'll be headed to the mall tomorrow. Been looking for a new flat screen, smart TV, preferably. I don't think they do. They don't. I don't think you can buy a TV that's not smart anymore. I don't think so. 601, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, sir?
Hey, who am I speaking with?
This is John from Florida.
All right, John from Florida. What you got for us today, man?
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a shout out on that GSDC play that you called out. That was a pretty nice run up it had.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't see new to penny stocks, but from that run, I see now how penny stocks work. Because basically, the individuals that were in before the hype came out, or before you sent out your email, those are the ones who made the most money. I think I got in around. I tried to put my order in about 0033, but as soon as it started trading, it shot up on me. I wasn't able really to get in until I think about 0072 is when I was able to get in.
Yeah, see, those kind of stock. That's why, man. That's why the first 30 minutes, dude. I don't touch nothing, bro. I don't touch nothing, man. I'm always looking to get in on a discount. That's why a lot of people, they hate red days, but I love red days because those are opportunities to get in at prices that you may not see anymore. You know what I mean? So when I have a stock that's running hot, especially the fact that GSDC, you got to remember that stock closed yesterday at 300%. The stock closed up at 300%. So I knew, all right, so this is going across the country, across the world. People are going to open up tomorrow and they're going to jump on this stock. But I know that I don't want to buy into the morning rush on investors who saw what happened yesterday. So let me wait for a strong pullback in the stock and then get in because we believe that momentum should carry us higher. That's what happened with GSDC.
Yeah, and that was absolutely my fault. It's just my inexperience not knowing how to play those penny stocks. But yeah, I was able to get out. I had a profit. I was up in it. But I didn't know where it was going to start to sell at. I think it started to sell, around like in the 0080, somewhere along up in there. And then it just started dropped all the way down to 41. Then it came back up and stabilized. So like you said, I should have bought the pullback instead of getting in, going up like that. And I remember that in the future.
Yeah.
Hey, have you guys talked about TXTM yet?
TXTM, no, I haven't talked about that. Tell us a little bit about TXTM and why you're excited about it. Huge move today, only 50%. Wow, not bad.
That's one of those stocks that have been talked about on your show multiple times. A lot of people are aware of it. But they have the main thing about them is they're a little bit more transparent than they once have been. They have an Instagram, they have Twitter, and they're releasing news up to date on both Instagram and Twitter. So they've been posting some news, just little updates for the last few days, and I think today they posted that they're going to have a meeting in, I think it's pronounced Mauritius, somewhere in Africa, with President Garib Fakim. And they're basically going to discuss a human clinical trial to test out their green tea complex, which is supposed to be 10 times better than ordinary catechin extract. So they've been posting pictures and little updates that they are making progress. So that little bit of news that they posted calls that run up. I think it started out at 0014 and shot all the way up as high as 28, and then it stabilized around like 21. So I'm pretty, because that's one of those companies I've actually called, and I did get in contact with an individual. So I think it's legit. I think it's more than just a pump and dump. Now I think they're coming out with legit, strong news that's helping to move the stock. So, and I think now would probably be a good time. Well, I don't know. Just me talking. I think now would probably be a good time to get in because I'm looking for some more news to come out and to make another strong move up. So I just wanted to throw that out there as something to watch.
Yeah, TXTM, man, would have been a really good pickup for somebody again in the singles. I mean, it was a what was that, 0009 not too long ago, and
Yeah.
where it tapped it. And I see now you're up 50% today. You actually were a lot higher. You got up to almost 90% today before settling at 50 at TXTM. Now you're at what, 0021? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So if they get that human clinical trial going and that plays out pretty good, I look for that. I look for that stock to go up. I really do. I mean, I know earlier it touched like 0055. I look for it to go even higher than that. So okay. I think that's gonna be a pretty good move for somebody.
All right. All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the call.
All right. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. So shout out to him. So yeah, TXTM looks like he's doing very well in TXTM. If he got into that huge move today, 50%. Let's see if it can build off on that. TXTM had ran earlier in the month. As you can see, man, this was a stock that was 0003. Oh my God. Oh, you see, that's 0003 to 006. Oh my God, what a run. What a run. That's 500%. Well, actually, that's a lot more than that. That's actually a lot more than that. I'm sorry. That's actually a lot more than that. I got to do the math on that. You guys know I got to do that. Sometimes I just like to imagine like that. 0003. The stock was 0003 on January 17th. That was not too long ago. 0003. Right? You got to a high on January 31st of 006. Oh, man, that's 1,900%. That's 1,900%. 1,900%. In a matter, 1,900%. In a matter of not even 15 days. Not even 15 days. Incredible. So we'll see what it can do again, man. We'll see what it can do again. And good, I mean, good for him for confirming that, man, because, you know, let me let you guys know of a little scam that some people like to do in the market. And I've never done this, but, you know, you got to be very careful with company-owned Twitter accounts because anybody can establish a Twitter account. Anybody can establish an Instagram account and claim that they're the company. You know what I'm saying? So be very, very careful if you see a company that has not updated its website in a long time, has not submitted any financials in a long time, but all of a sudden has a brand new Twitter account, brand new Instagram account. So be very, very careful with that, man. Always, as an investor, do your research, right? Because anybody can start these companies. You know, they'll find a logo right there on a Google search, you know, make it look completely legit, man. Yeah, you got to be very careful. I'm letting you guys know, you know, I'm not called the transparent promoter for nothing. I'll let you guys know what the game is. You know, what the game is. But yeah, there are so many companies that are just, you know, fucked in the head, man. There are some evil people out here. TAUG 003. TAUG, Alex Montez. What do you like about this one, man? You know, you actually broke support here. You broke support. All right, you had support here at 003. You actually broke it. So, you know, confirmation of a lot of bearish momentum in TAUG. So let me know what you 000. Okay, 000 got into. Okay, so TAUG had broke into 000. Yeah, I would. I mean, if you like it, and it's actually got pretty good volume. I mean, I'm looking at the, you know, these volume bars here, and, you know, I think if you can catch the bottom in TAUG, man, and you're willing to be a little bit patient, again, do your research on the company. But I think if you can find bottom, sure, then you can, you know, get a run here. You know, look, there's nothing wrong with these triples if you're willing to be a little bit patient. All right? As I said, you know, and I've said this multiple times, you're either going to buy a triple and be patient, or you're going to, you know, get that email address, sign up for a bunch of promoter emails, and try to make money on the momentum. Otherwise, you're just guessing. Maybe this will run. Maybe that will run. And BIEL. BIEEL. Bioelectronics Corporation. 0010. Yeah, this is the one that somebody had called up in BIEL and said that some huge news was incoming. We have yet to see it, so I'm hoping that we can get some confirmation on that soon on BIEL. Obviously, some people are loading up, as you can see here, in the last 2 days. So I'll continue to watch it and see what happens. BBRD was one that we had on watch yesterday as well. That stock pulled back very strongly on BBRD. Woo! But you know what? This might be where you want to get in. All right? I feel sorry for you if you were in the stock, but obviously BBRD, if you've been looking at it, then this is might where you want to be in. 303, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what up, Sal?
Who am I speaking
Jeremiah, man.
All right, Jeremiah, what you got for us?
Well, it was tossed through the feed, NAVB, and I think they look really good. I wanted to know what your thoughts were, because when you look at like the 1 year chart, they've been going down, but they constantly jump up, and when you break it down to 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 5 day, all the way to 1 day, they look really good. They look like they're every time they jump. When you look for if you look at the 1 month chart and above, when they jump, it seems like they jump like $1.50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's just a situation where the stock had incredible amount of bearish momentum, but if you looked at the NAVB chart and you pull out what happened back in September of 2016, the stock had got to that low of 31 cents a share and then gapped higher, right? So investors obviously felt that that was a bottom for the stock, and the stock gapped higher and maintained, or attempted to anyway, 70 to 75%, hitting as high as almost $1.15. Eventually, some bearish momentum developed, and guess what? The stock, bled all the way back to that support price, which was that 30 cent support price. And sure enough, we've changed directions after hitting that 30 cent support price in NAVB. And you've had multiple green days in the stock since. So now we're approaching that top. We're approaching that top, which I don't know if it's going to try and hit again, which was at 104. We're at 70 cents now.
It might. I think that, I don't think it's going to go all the way to the top, but it looks like every time it goes down and then it starts to go up again, when it goes up, it seems like it always goes up to at least $1.50 before it comes back down. So even though it's going down in the long run, the jumps look really good. And then it's always like a slow downward motion to where you could still get out pretty much comfortably at any moment.
Yeah. Your wall is your wall is definitely that $1, $1.10 level. So you'll see what we're at 70 cents now. If you're a big believer in the past can determine the future in this, then I guess you're still pretty safe. Obviously, I would have loved to get in at that 35, 40, 50, even 50 cents. You're a little higher now at 70 cents, so it's got some risk involved.
Yeah, it might go down, but if it does, what it did 4 or 5 months ago, then it has a ways to go up still, and then like 3 months prior to that, it was up significantly higher, and so I don't know, is that it looks like it's on the right path.
I guess if
I mean,
it gets to it.
Of course. I mean, February's been awesome for NAVB. I mean, since mid-February, you're up almost 40 cents a share. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they came out with news today that they completed sales of North American rights for last week. So they definitely came out with news today. Maybe that's why it's a good jump, but
yeah,
I feel like it's a safe one to where I can make money knowing that at some point it's going to have a rapid jump.
Yeah,
based on the charts.
Okay. We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, it's definitely going in the right direction. It's definitely going in the right direction. So, appreciate it, man. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, thank you, Sal. I appreciate it.
All right. So, a little bit of delay there. I think he wasn't used to the delay, or maybe he was listening to something else. But NAVB, was his call, and I absolutely agree with him. It's going in the right direction. I mean, you tapped almost 80 cents. Right, you tapped almost 80 cents. You've had 4 incredible days in the stock so far. You've had an incredible 2 weeks, and it's not bad, not bad. We'll see what happens. GMER. Yeah, we had the guy call up about GMER. Remember that he's trying to question whether or not to buy those triple twos. Yeah, if you're looking to go long, touch the triple twos. Yeah, man. Yeah, Bad Scientist. I'm about to get out of here in about 30 minutes or so. But, yeah, GMER, DITR stocks. I see your question, DITR stocks. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, we can talk business DITR stocks. It all depends on, again, what you're looking to do. All right, because I've been having a lot of people trying to contact me, a lot of promoters trying to contact me, but they just want to screw people over. And I'm just not, that's not my, I'm not here for that. That's the biggest problem with promoters. You guys don't want to take the long-term view or anything. You're just trying to shit on people. You don't realize that's not how you make money in business. That's why these people come and go. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Whatever. I'm just complaining. BLTA. Someone had asked me to talk about BLTA, and it's going through a promotion right now. And man, it's working wonders for this company that wants to be an airline. As I've mentioned before, BLTA is out of Detroit International, and basically what they're trying to do is to raise money for what they want to be a regional airline carrier, which will eventually have, overseas stops. All right, which will eventually have overseas stops. Yeah, guys, I've been having some issues with people who wanna DITR stocks. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I guess that's what happens when you buy a website in a box. But I'll definitely do that. But again, man, you got a lot of promoters who are just not interested in doing things the right way. They just want to scam people and all that. And I'll always expose those if I see that. But I'm not with that at all. Not with that at all. All right, not with that at all. I'm good. I like my freedom. 316, you're on the air.
Hey, I called in a few weeks ago, but I found another stock that I think is going to go way up. The ticker is NAK. And President Trump is supposed to sign an executive order that I read a news article or something.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So Prolix has been the guy who's all been about NAK, you as well. Now the stock had been got crashed by a company that came out and said, "Hey, this is
Yeah, they're
worthless."
getting sued right now or something.
Yeah. So you think that this should be signed by Trump when exactly?
I think probably in the next week or so. So I'm going long at this point, but I think it should go up. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think the only thing that can change this situation in NAK, would you agree that Trump just has to sign that? Like, he's just got to get it done.
Yeah, I think this is more like, I don't know. I think this is just something that he's doing. It's not going to really change anything, but I think it's just like something he's going to do to make it symbolic, I guess, or I don't know. But I think it's just something to help make this company do better. So I don't know, really.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'll definitely let people know right now. NAK is the stock the guy's talking about. He thinks could go a lot higher. Hopefully, again, Trump's got to sign that, because I really believe that's the only thing that can change this momentum here. Is
yeah, and that's what the reason why I'm going to buy it is just hoping that he's going to sign in the next week, hopefully. So, yeah.
That'll be some huge profits coming to you. I mean, let me tell you, if he does sign that, no doubt about it. That's for sure. Appreciate the call, man.
All right, sure. Thank you. Enjoying the show so far.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, look, NAK could be a huge moneymaker if Trump signs the play. Even if you're down in NAK, he's absolutely right. Even if you're down in it, if Trump approves the deal, you're going to get back to the 3s. And then 4s or 5s, and who knows how high much after that. But, if you're still stuck in NAK in the 3s, I think it's still worth the risk. I mean, you're a bag holder. Let's be honest. You're a bag holder. But you very well could make some money. I tried to pull up A-Reef. We tried to pull up A-Reef, and there's no, A-Reef. Everybody keeps bringing up A-Reef. Not in TradingView or in free stock charts. So what's this A-Reef you guys keep talking about? Or two people keep talking about? A-Reef. There's no A-Reef. All right. So with that being said, let's keep it moving. Somebody was talking about if we're going to talk about Jeff Sessions. I mean, it is what it is. We talked about him yesterday extensively. We already know what's going on with Jeff Sessions. So I'm just going to, leave that alone. Leave that alone. RREF. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, Raybo, you had typed in A-Reef first. You typed in A-Reef first. Yeah, man. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. ARREF, as you can see, has got the F, so it's a foreign company. And this is an incredible run. 1.9 million shares going in today only. Why is this only coming to our attention today? I don't know why this always happens. Look, I'll be the first one to admit there are 10,000 stocks traded on the OTC markets. We're not going to follow all of them. We'd have to turn this into a 24-hour episode. But ARREF, man, definitely slipped under the radar unless somebody talked about it yesterday. Raybo says it's number one on Zacks. Anybody can be number one on Zacks, but I see what you're getting at, Raybo. I appreciate it because you can actually compensate them on. That's the thing about Zacks. If you read the disclaimer, you can actually buy a rating. A lot of people don't know that. ARREF, huge move on that. Obviously, I don't doubt that this company bought the rating though, because it's possibly based on what the stock has been doing these last now 15 days almost in ARREF, Amerigo Resources, at now almost 60 cents a share, growing volume in the stock. You really today just got the huge move. So either, here's a load, right? Look at that. Look at all the loading right here. Man, you're a happy investor over there if you're in at 31 cents a share. Here's all the loading right there, and they loving it. They're absolutely loving it. 100 million share float. Yeah, African Emporium, a lot of runners, man. All right, so ARREF, one to watch, 1.9 million volume today. Let's see what it can follow up with next week. ARREF is the ticker. ARREF. All right. Not bad. Not bad, man. That's a lot of volume. That's a lot of volume. Let's see where AUPH is. We were looking at AUPH 2 days ago. AUPH was second green day, third green day in a row. Lower volume, but AUPH still finding a way to make some gains after an incredible Thursday. AUPH, more green there. So shout out to Tristan for that one. Some oldies here. MNTR, 228 a share. Okay, nothing real serious in MNTR, but this could be the beginning of a possible retest, I hope. This possibly could be the beginning of a possible retest to that high. You know, look, we're $2 off the high. I don't know if we were going to get there again, but MNTR is a low float OTC play. And, you know, this was a stock that we were very impressed with, you know, at the beginning of early January, because it did an incredible run from 120 something all the way to almost $5, from the 120s to $5 a share. And this is another stock, if you go too far back, you were at almost 30 cents a share back in 2016. All right. So possibly somebody could have ridden this higher from 30 cents all the way to $5. Yeah, absolutely. There are tons of stocks that, you know, the market is so big. That's why, again, volume plays such a big part, is because you don't want to necessarily get into anything illiquid and find yourself stuck. ARGS. All right, ARGS. Here's a huge stock that gapped down. You know, I think a quick look at ARGS now at $1.45. You know, when a stock gaps down like this, the first thing you want to know is, one, why? But two, let's see here real quick. Now you're at $1.45 from $4. And a quick look at Yahoo Finance, because you just want to see what does the balance sheet look like. Because if you're in a situation where now your balance sheet is bigger than your company's current cap, that could smell, you know, a possible oversold situation. Obviously, you know, not knowing why the stock is down, okay? Not knowing why the stock is down. But ARGS, real quick. I want to do that and find out, because I'm personally interested in it now after stock drops down by almost $3 worth of value, disappears, and the market cap is currently 59 million. What do we have in cash? Let me go to financials. What do we have in cash? What do we have in income? Okay, so we're hemorrhaging cash. All right, so maybe it deserves that. Maybe it deserves that. ARGS is the ticker on that. And again, you might want to see what's in the pipeline too and what failed today, because that looks like possibly a drug failure of some sort. All right. Yes, okay, I do see here their cancer drug got shut to a halt. And that reminds me a lot. Yeah, that's a huge drop. That reminds me a lot of another drug, ZFGN. drug maker stocks. ZFGN was a stock that got halted, and we can go back into the chart as far back as, yeah, there it is. Here was the drop in ZFGN. This was early, actually mid 2016. This was the drop, and it got to as low as $3. The stock is now at $4.09 a share. So you're up $1 a share. So as you can see with ZFGN, it's taking some time for them to get back. So again, these drug carriers, if they've got a legitimate product, it could eventually find its way back. But as you can see here, it's taken almost 6 months for ZFGN to recover $1. And this is a stock that dropped from 6. Dropped from 6 all the way to 3, and it's recovered only $1 worth of value since the drop. So it's ARGS dropped $3. Yeah, you're at $1.45. You've done 30 cents so far from the low, which is pretty impressive to begin with. Is it worth it? It's doing so far so good. Again, you're up 30 cents from the low, in 3 days, from $1.10 to $1.45, which is not too bad. Again, do your research. Okay? Do your research. All right. MMEG now trading at 002. MMEG, that's another stock that did an incredible run, pulled back, now looking to retest highs. You got some walls ahead of you there at 003, but so far you've had some really good green days in MMEG. Whether or not I can get that following back, we'll see. But MMEG has been a runner before. So MMEG looking like it's doing pretty good. Raybo, L Red. Okay, so L Red. Oh, okay, nah. Okay, huge gain though. Look at that. 6,000 shares up to almost $1. So it looks like somebody just wanted to take some slap the ass and take those shares for whatever reason. AUPH has earnings on Monday. It is off to a great start. Not bad. A lot of potential going into next week in AUPH. And AUPH has a relatively low float as well. In AUPH and that's a stock that's ran before as well. MSIG with Bad Scientist says looking really good. Yeah, that's a beautiful candlestick. Let's see if we can get confirmation on Monday. I was going to say tomorrow, on Monday. Not bad on that. Now looking at some previous runners, PULM, nothing there. We had a guy bring up HOV a couple days ago. The stock ended up going red that day, which was yesterday. Nothing pretty much on any gain today. I'm not a big fan of homeowners or home builders, especially now that we got some news that interest rates could be going higher. Not a big fan of home builders right now. There were a lot of people who were into gold. Gold did very well today, as we said. Somebody brought up JNUG. For whatever reason, that didn't show up in GLD, the other ETF. GLD was down 0.06%. So pretty much sideways. IBRC. 002, an IBRC. And that reminds me, what's going on with iconic brands? Nobody talks about iconic brands. What is iconic brands again? ICNB? Yeah, ICNB. Nobody talks about iconic brands anymore after their run. Iconic brands did a really good run. And you're actually at support now at 2 cents a share. And Iconic Brands, this kind of reminds me of when MKAU and many of those other stocks that were trading at 1 or 2 cents a share forever. If you look at the MKAU chart, it looks very similar to what Iconic Brands did, where you had the huge run up, the stock pulls back, and then you kind of start funneling for a while at a certain price, right? And it doesn't move. You don't think that there's any possible chance for it to run again. And then sure enough, it finds that momentum again. I think that might be what's going on with Iconic Brands. All right. So going back to Iconic Brands, you had the huge run. Now it's pulling back, right? Every investors are thinking, okay, won't do it again. But you'll probably start to see it funnel. And that might be when you want to get in for a possible run to break this high here of only 3 cents a share. I mean, the high is 3 cents a share. You're at 2. Volume is kind of drying up, though, so I'd pay attention to that. Obviously, you can get in a lot lower price if this bearish momentum is confirmed going into next week. All right, you have some support here. Obviously, at a penny. But you're already at a pretty good support level here at 2 cents a share. So it's trying to hold on tight to it. All right, Sinclair. Appreciate it, Sinclair. Thank you, sir. Yeah. DLYT. Down 10 cents a share. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with DLYT. Appreciate that, Alex. I'm out of here, too, in a minute. I'm out of here, too, in just a bit. URBN. And by the way, everybody go ahead and press like on this video. Press like on this video. I'm really looking for a stock for next week. I mean, there's got to be an OTC play for next week we can kind of start looking at. Let's spend at least a minute or two here looking for an OTC stock for next week. Or even a NASDAQ play for next week. I mean, a real one. I mean, not some of these duds you guys, not the old WCPs of the world that are shitting on themselves right now. OWCP now at the 20-day moving average. But this, ironically, you will see if it can bounce off that, because as you can see here through the chart, that's exactly what the stock did today, using that 20-day moving average as support. Liga, LIGA. All right. LIGA. All right. Also look into that Major League Football stock. We're going into the NFL draft. That Major League Football stock we talked about, that's at 10 cents a share right now and falling. As we go into the NFL draft here in mid-March, that could be something. Oh, actually, NFL draft is in April, but the combine is what we're going through right now. And obviously, as you guys know, not everybody, one of those guys are going to get drafted. And with them starting what they say is going to be in July, we could see something happening there in that Major League Football stock. Let me see. I don't think I saw anything, Bat Scientist. Let me go back here. Oh, okay. I see your list here. It's a lot of stocks. Off the top, let's just go look where we looked at that. Sack Lunch. What do you like about Sack Lunch? SAKL. I remember this stock at 2 cents a share. SAKL. Bearish so far, but definitely one to watch. GBIM. I like the way GBIM is setting up. That's actually a really nice chart. GBIM, 2 days in a row of green. You're up. Damn. See, I would have wanted to catch this one at, again, you wanted to catch this one at 14 cents a share. Now you're at 24 cents. So now GBIM, you're looking at it like, am I getting in too high? You're up, well over 10 cents a share in 2 days. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. David K, he said, be careful, NAVB. A lot of people knew the news that came out. All right. David K putting out some alert. Alex Montez says he needs a 3X for next week. PPHM. Thank you, Tomas. 70 cents a share. PPHM has been on a tear. PPHM has been on our list for some time now. I see we talked about PPHM back on 223. 223 after this incredible run. So since 223, you're up almost 16 cents a share. Almost 16 cents a share in PPHM since 223 on PPHM. So not bad in that. Appreciate that, Alex, for bringing that up. CRCUF. CRCUF. Oh, no, hold on. CRCUF. Is that what you're bringing up? CRC. All right. Okay. I see what you're doing. I don't know why my thing isn't bringing up CRCUF. Canarch Resources. And as you can see, TradingView found it. Free stock picks or free stock charts didn't bring it up. But nice play in that. 2.1 million shares traded today in that stock at 8 cents a share. I do see that here. You're sitting above the 200 moving average. It's been a nice looking chart, man. It's been slowly working its way higher since mid-February. Since the beginning of February, actually. You've been slowly working your way up higher. Now you're about slowly but surely. I mean, you're only 2 cents a share, but it's been moving in between the zeros. I know I got a lot of lines on the chart right now because that's actually what I look at intraday. But you've been moving in between the zeros. All those 6 cents a share, you've been moving, 0.0658, 0.0678, 0.0698. So you've slowly been moving up the chat. Slowly been moving up. Yeah, man, we talked about MKAU bill bets. I mean, what is there left to say? What is there left to say? The stock, crashed because the company didn't put out any news. The company said that the product was going to go live today, and it didn't go live. And then not only that, it didn't go live, but they didn't even say anything. They didn't even say anything. No, Michael. They didn't even say anything. They didn't even say anything. And that's what's sad. That's what's sad. All right. You should look at technical charting software. At the technical charting software. No problems looking up any. What do you mean by that, Bats? RNX 32 cents a share. RNX 32 cents a share. So, all right, guys. I mean, look, today was pretty much. I mean, this week wasn't the easiest week in the world. If you were an MJ, you ended up the week with at least a little bit better sentiment of where marijuana could be going. I think we got surprised by some incredible runners this week. Some OTCs that kind of came out of nowhere. The strong Friday close. I mean, today was probably one of the strongest closes for OTCs we've seen in a minute. I think yesterday was a really, really good show because we were able to find a lot of winners that won today. And shout out to all the people who took advantage of those stocks because that list was incredible from yesterday. Multiple winners on that one. So we'll see what happens next week. Good luck with all your research this week to find some winners. We already talked about RNVA and how that's setting up pretty nicely now. Mankind also reverse split on Mankind. That could be setting up really well. Bitcoin still doing very, very well. Marijuana finally turning around, as I just mentioned. So, good news going into next week. But mainstream sentiment is that we're going to be seeing a pullback. I don't know whether or not that will happen or not, because I think the catalyst is kind of came and went. We're not sure when we're going to get a bill for the economy. We're not sure we're going to get an infrastructure bill. We've got the man who heads the Department of Justice under fire right now. So we got a lot of things, not going for the economy as a whole that thankfully don't affect us at the OTC side for the most part. But we still have to pay attention to it. Gold could start running again if we in fact do get this interest rate increase relatively soon. I don't know the date for it. I hope it comes sooner than later. We could see some gold stocks start running again. We had a gold play run today. That more than likely will run Monday, but I'd love to see even more gold stocks start running into next week. In next week. So we'll see. All right. I didn't even bother to talk about Snapchat. I'm not going to put any money in it just because I don't know. I don't even fuck with the software like that. I don't even fuck with Snapchat like that, man. I don't know how it's monetized. Let me see. Where's, you can't short the stock. There are no shorts available. There are no shorts available. Let me see here. Let's go to the Snap. Here's the Snap. There are no shorts available. There are no options available. All you can do is go long. That's all you can do. All right, is go long. And for the most part, I have yet to find somebody who's actually making money in Snap, who's actually making money and then willing to show some gains. But it is what it is. If you're willing to do it, by all means do it. But for the money that you got to put in for it to make sense, I just rather not. You said you can start shorting Snap next week? Okay. Yeah, man, I don't know where it's going. It's, for it to make sense, I got to put at least 1,000 shares. So you're talking about almost 27 grand. It's just, fuck it, bro. You said Snap will eventually be huge. Well, maybe, or it could be another Twitter. If Snapchat is not Facebook. Let's just admit that. Can we admit that Snapchat is not Facebook? It's not Facebook. Snapchat is not this organized, well-oiled, machine that can tell me as an advertiser who's spending money on the platform, what your name is, what your date of birth is, what teams you like, what movies you like, what you did on your birthday. What are some of your favorite places to visit? As an advertiser, I need that kind of information, right? Snap doesn't do anything. I can create any fake ass name, fake ass date of birth. It's just, what's the upside, bro? Well, what as an advertiser, somebody who matters to the company's bottom line, what's my upside as an advertiser? All right, I can advertise to kids who don't have any money. Seriously. Who's using? Who has money and is using Snapchat? Gen Xers aren't using it. Gen Y, not really. It's the younger kids. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, I just what's the upside? What's I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, it has a better chance of getting to $30 than it does to getting to zero. Let's just be honest with it. So it could very well get to $30, $35, $40 before this bubble goes kaput. But I think it's another Twitter situation. And again, people get excited. It's a young company. I mean, it has a 26-year-old CEO who dates models, and the company has never generated any revenue. That's what we have here. Has never generated a dollar, bro. Not a dollar in revenue. You know? Fuck that. I'm not creating liquidity for investment banks for them to make hundreds of millions of dollars and use so I can get shitted on, and I have to wait 4 or 5 months to make some money back in this shit. Maybe not to wait that long, but 3 or 4 weeks to make a decent return. You got people putting $2,500 into Snap and thinking that's going to do something. Buying maybe 40 or 50 shares, thinking that's going to do something. I don't know. That's my thing. All right. That's my thing. Yeah, I'm not. No, it's not my thing. It's not how I trade. It's not where I make money. I'm pretty disciplined with my trading. I know what I like. I know what I like to trade, and it's not for me. If that's your cup of tea, by all means, go at it. Yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing, Stockerfella. The guy's coming in here. He's taking his company public. He's cash. That's basically what he's done. He's cashed out. Now he's sitting in cash. $6 billion. $6 billion. And the company doesn't even make one positive dollar. One positive dollar. Crazy, man. But hey, man, that's the game, man. That's the Wall Street game. That's the Wall Street game, man. Those guys are walking away with millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, billions. And it is what it is, man. And the little man gets shitted on at the end of the day. The little man walks away with nothing. That's how it is. So again, thank you so much to everybody who's been watching. I really appreciate it. I'm going to finally end this show early so I can actually have a life again. So I can actually have a life on Friday nights. So I'm about to head up out of here. So thank you for everybody who's been tuning in. Again, this is the place to be for the OTC stocks. I do not teach anybody how to trade. We only talk about what to trade. There are tons of guys out there who are more than happy to take your money to teach you how to trade. All right. And once they do that and you give them your hard-earned money as you dream to trade like them, then the next question is what to trade. And that's what we talk about here on my show. I'm so grateful that you took in the time to watch this show. Many of you guys take the time to watch the show. I appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. I'll be back here same time, same place Monday, always following the OTC stocks because we're always looking for that triple-digit gainer. Always looking for that multiple-day runner, whether it be NASDAQ or right here on the OTCs. All right. Said, when are we going to do entry points on these watch lists and see how we do them? Because that's not my job, ta-da. That's not my job to do your entry and exit points on these stocks. That's your job. My job as the host is to talk about what's hot and what's not. Your job is to decide as an investor where you want to get in, when you want to get out. Okay? Yeah, a lot of people get confused about what my role is. That's not my job. I only want to talk about what's hot, what's not. I want to hear from you what's hot, what's not, because again, there are 10,000 stocks out here. I can't follow them all. I'm one mind. You have a mind, and you have different ways of scanning the market. You might pull up something that I'm not going to pull up. You know? Yes, Craig G, that's absolutely right. Craig G, you hit it on the head. That's exactly what I'm trying to do tonight. You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed. Craig G hit it right on the net. Yeah, I'm keeping 100 with you. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. And let me tell you, Craig G is stupid jiggly too. That shit is stupid jiggly. That shit is stupid jiggly, man. Like Jello, man. Like, it's just worse than Jello. Just dumb jiggly, bruh. Yeah, TXTM. We talked about TXTM. Let me get up out of here before I turn this into another 4-hour show. Yeah, man. Yo, no, shout out again. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I cracked 14,000 subscribers. And it's so funny because I never used any type of Google advertising. I just started a Google AdWords thing yesterday. So now all of a sudden, now you're going to start seeing that move up a lot higher. You know, because I know that's what Clay Trader and what's his name, Tim Sykes and some of the other guys do. You know, so I finally just got on Google AdWords and started, you know, doing that because at the beginning it was all organic. You know, I put out a video if you like it, great. If not, you know, say YouTube needs picture comments. Yeah. So, yes, sir. Let me get out of here. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the chat room even bigger. More people, more minds, more tickers. And but no, please don't count on me for like deep ass research, and that's not why we're here. You want, you know, real quick, give you the meat and potatoes, and then you take it and run with it. You know what I mean? That's not what we're here for, where we're breaking it shit down. And, you know, we've done that in the past by all means, but I'll get 10 emails like, hey, man, that put me to sleep, man. Hey, man, that was really good show, but it's boring as fuck, and we didn't really go over any tickers. So I decided let's get back to what we do best, just blazing through a lot of tickers, and whatever it is what it is. All right. So again, please click like on this video right now. Click like on this video right now. Again, my sincerest, you know, respects to MKAU investors. You guys did not deserve that at all, man. You guys did not deserve that at all. I don't know what happened to MKAU. You guys did not deserve that. I feel so sorry for you guys, you know. But again, I'll see y'all at the crossroads, man. I think y'all got scammed, you know, but it happens to everyone, you know, at least once or twice in your investment career, man. You know. So, rest in peace, MKAU. It is what it is, man, but don't be a bag holder, man. Sometimes you just got to be a man and just take your L, bro. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to take your L, bro. You know? Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Ricky Lindo, More Peace, Cool Cats, SE Trucker, appreciate it, man. Tada, Jay Wallace, Money Stay Woke. Who else is in the building? Nikhil 007 or 007. Thriller Ali. Yeah, man. Y'all got fucked over, man, in MKAU. You know? Oh my goodness, you lost all the money. All the money is gone, man. You know? All the money's gone, man. Crossroads, lonely. See you at the crossroads. Crossroads, long, see you at the crossroads. Crossroads, MKAU. MKAU investors. Yeah. Rest in peace, man. Good night, everybody. You got fucked in the ass, MKAU. fucked in the ass. You should have played my pump GS. I'm out of here, man. I'll take care, man. Y'all have a blessed weekend, man. I'll see you guys on Monday, man. Monday, 8:30, 8:35, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh.